Well, while we have you here, we just figured we'd take the opportunity to ask you a couple of questions.
Oh, so you're going to make me work?
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm going to set this down.
Oh, sure. So the first question really, as you know, you just came to New Jersey, and we've had a little bit of a hurricane, Sandy, happening over here. So I've in looking at a lot of the news reports and reading a lot of things online, people are talking about, oh, you know, these things are happening because of global warming, or, you know, they're blaming it on a bunch of different things. My question is, with your viewpoint, how do you view the meaning behind this, and how consciousness is or is not playing a role in not just this hurricane, but the earthquakes and the hurricanes and the tsunamis and the things that seem to be kind of happening as we're moving forward right now?
So those are two questions, all rolled into one question. So I'm going to preface my answer by saying I was trained as a scientist. My first degree was in the earth sciences, and I was a geologist. Well, I guess I still am a geologist, not practicing.
Right.
So when people ask me about what these changes mean, my first inclination is to look into the history of the earth and see if the history of the earth tells us is something broken, is something wrong, or are we living a time that seems strange to us because it happens so rarely, but in fact it is part of a greater cycle. And that's precisely what I've had the opportunity to do. What we know almost universally, our ancestors told us we could expect extraordinary things to happen at this time, precisely this time in this generation. And my question is, how did they know? They knew because extraordinary things always happen every 5,125 years for a number of reasons. Our own science now is bearing out what our ancestors said to us. Earth's location in space changes the way we live on this planet. Are we living in intense times? Absolutely. And in no way I'm going to minimize that. However, what I think we're discovering now, what our ancestors were very clear about, was they said you cannot stop the changes. And we must make a choice to either work together and help one another adapt to the changes and prepare for the changes that are part of natural cyclic events, or we buy into the belief that we live in a world of scarcity. It's every person for themselves, dog eat dog, and we neglect to take care of our neighbors. So I'm less concerned about the physical changes. They're difficult. We're seeing them all over the world. When I look into the history of the earth from the past, we see these changes on a rhythmic, on a cyclic basis. I'm more concerned about us and how we treat one another as we go through the changes. And this is where my most recent work, Deep Truth, the scientific discoveries that overturn 150 years of scientific thinking, new discoveries that simply are not being carried in the mainstream. And among those is the fact that nature is, in fact, based upon a model of cooperation, what's called mutual aid. That we are living in a world that is actually based upon this powerful model of cooperation. And to the degree that we stray from that model, to the degree that we compete, that we fight one another, it tells us how far we've strayed from our truest existence, our truest relationships with the world itself. So there are some who believe that humans have caused the global warming. The fact that we see global warming on a cyclic basis in 500,000 years of Earth's history tells me that we didn't cause it. Have we accentuated it? Have we contributed to it? I have to say we have, because we're putting stuff into the air that isn't normally there.
Right.
And this is a slippery slope, because it's so easy to hijack this whole issue. And so I'm going to be very clear. For me, we definitely need to get off fossil fuels. Definitely need to clean up our act.
Right.
In the next few years, we definitely need to come together as a community and help one another get through the kinds of changes that are exemplified by what we're seeing here right now. It's happening in other parts of the world, and I think it's probably not the last in this part of the world. It's an opportunity for us to redefine what community means and to recognize that we're living it is a rare time in the history of the earth. No one living today remembers the last time this happened. And it's an opportunity for us to learn to come together as families, as communities, and work together and learn to take care of ourselves in ways that we haven't been conditioned to in the past. And it's a difficult topic to talk about because there's so much emotion involved in it. So I like to stay with the facts. And the facts are, I think we can expect to see more change, and that it will behoove all of us to learn about greater levels of community, and applying that, as our ancestors did in their time, to what we're living right now.